Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and we have an official update. That's right, official update on Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2. In fact, he's telling us basically what the plot outline for the movie is. He also goes into what we can expect not to see, and that straight away rules out a few things that have been rumored in terms of characters, which we will get to, and it's interesting. Now, his plot outline, it sounds familiar with especially compared to the first movie. If that's the road to go down, it might be a bit boring, to be honest, if it goes with what the new rumor has kicked up that it could be, which I think everybody was expecting the first Batman to be, and it didn't end up being that. But we'll have a look at this because it's interesting what he says. Not just about what the outline for the movie is, but what we can expect not to see, and the reasons why we shouldn't see it, as well as there seems to be confirmation of when this thing is going to be shooting. So we will jump into the article, but just before we do, if you don't mind smashing the sub button, smashing the like button, you know the drill. Let's keep the channel growing. It's much appreciated. It's been great seeing new subs, and welcome to the channel, especially if it's your first time here. But we will go now into this, so let's have a look. So it says, rumors relating to the Batman director Matt Reeves' plans for the highly anticipated sequel have been doing the rounds since shortly after the movie was announced, and we finally have an official update on the plot of The Batman Part 2 straight from the filmmaker himself. Reeves shared a story outline during a new interview with SFX magazine, confirming that the movie will once again feature Batman investigating a mystery. He doesn't reveal anything too significant beyond this, but his comments have ignited a lot of speculation online. So here's what he said. We've shared the script as we've been going along with DC, and they're super excited. It's going to dig into the epic story about deeper corruption, and it goes into places Bruce Wayne couldn't even anticipate in the first one. So there's the bit where it sounds a bit like, oh really? Like it sounds more political than anything. It continues anyway, saying the seeds of where this goes are all in the first movie, and it expands in a way that will show you aspects of the character you never got to see. Batman is constantly battling these forces, but those forces can't be entirely exercised. So the next movie delves deeper into that. So you're hearing how it just seems to be like high level ranking government people or something. Like if they're saying there's big forces at play and he can't exactly get rid of them, that means people in power. So are we looking at mayors and stuff like that? Which, that's what I'm saying, that sounds a bit boring if that's the case. It says this is now the magazine, or this article coming up with, is this what this could mean? So it says, deeper corruption in Gotham City sounds a lot like the Dark Knight might be meeting the Court of Owls. Now that's something people thought was being set up for the first movie when they were talking about what the story was and stuff. And of course it didn't come to be that. So it says the shadowy sect was introduced in the pages of writer Scott Snyder and artist Greg Capullo New 52 run as an organization of the wealthiest, most influential citizens in Gotham. The group operated in secret and remained unknown among the city's population, aside from some urban legends centered around their reputation for grisly assassinations carried out by indoctrinated agents known as Talons or Talons. There are other possibilities for the sequel's main antagonist/antagonists, of course, but when it comes to certain villains the Caped Crusader may or may not be going up against, Reeves did indicate that certain fantastical characters, including the likes of Gentleman Ghost, are off the table. Now, before we go into what he says there, that immediately rules out that Clayface was going to be a part of this. There was that rumor that Clayface was going to be a part of this, as was Victor Freeze. Now, there's a way he could do Freeze, but we were expecting more of the traditional type of freeze. That looks like that would be ruled out with what he says here. So this is what he said about all this. What was important to me was to find a way to take those pop icons, these mythic characters that everybody knows, and translate it so that Gotham feels like a place in our world. We might push to the edge of fantastical, but we would never go into full fantastical. It's meant to feel quite grounded. Now, that's a bit of an issue, really, when you think of all the characters then you're immediately ruling out of Batman and what you could do with Batman. We've already had the grounded version of Batman, which was the Nolan trilogy. And even then, Nolan did push it like that to the edge. We don't need another fully grounded Batman. You know, there's all these fantastic characters that you could bring in and use, and now you've immediately ruled them all out. But he continually was saying, it doesn't mean that you won't see characters that people love. That's exactly what we want to do. Gentleman Ghost is probably pushed a bit too far for us to be able to find a way to do it. But there is a fun way to think about how we would take characters that might push over into a bit of the fantastical and find a way to make sense of that. So that's what I'm saying. If they were to actually use freeze, how would they do it? They would obviously have to make them more normal. And that's where that sucks. Because who wants a normal, walking around every day looking Joe Soap version of her Mr. Freeze? Like, really? You want to have Victor Freeze just literally be a guy called Victor Freeze who does what? They'll like throw antifreeze or something in your face? Like, come on. But this is where we get the confirmation for when it's meant to start filming. So co-writer Mattson Tomlin recently confirmed reports that cameras are set to begin rolling in 2025, and he told Screen Rant, it's shooting next year, we're gearing up, and I will say that the bar just couldn't be higher. Well, we'll see whether that's the case or not. Now, The Batman, even people who love that movie, I think almost everyone is in agreement that the third act was where it shit the bed. That it just, like, you had a good 2 hour and 45 minute movie and you kept going. Yes, you should have stopped. Once Riddler was captured and stuff, that's probably where the movie should have ended, and it didn't. It just kept going, and you're like, oh, you're going here, are you? I think a lot, and I think Matt Reeves has also emphasized this, that things that happen in the Penguin series will set up stuff that will be happening in the movie. So as we can see from the trailers for The Penguin, it's very like underworld corruption, politic type of working out of the shadows type of crap. If that movie or that show doesn't work, what does it mean for this movie? If people look at that show and go, like, let's put it this way, the part of the Batman that falls apart for people is after the likes of Riddler is removed, and it goes into the corruption part with Falcone and Penguin and stuff like that. Or not Penguin, why did I say Penguin? Yeah, Penguins. Once it went into that, that's where the film fell apart. And then of course it became this kind of YouTuber type crap. You're like, what's going on? That's what didn't work for people. If that is very much what the Penguin series is, I don't think that's going to work. If the Penguin series, which would be full of that, doesn't work, then it spells disaster for the Batman Part 2. Really does. And of course he's talking about he wants the Joker to be in this, apparently. The Barry Keoghan version of the Joker, which I hate that version. That deleted scene was horrendously bad. I know there's people who like it. I hated it, and I couldn't understand a single word that he was saying. I was like, stop mumbling. What are you saying? He doesn't have to look. It's a terrible look for the Joker as well. A terrible casting choice for Joker. Just, no. Don't put the Joker in it. They probably will though. But the whole corruption angle again with like higher ups and stuff just sounds a bit boring, to be honest with you. And don't let this one be 3 hours. Like, if you can get this down to 2.5, fine. But 3 hours, no. Don't do another 3 hours. But there's the plot outline, and there's the confirmation that we are not going to get quite a lot of characters. So Clayface probably will not show up in it, unless it's just some mafia dude whose nickname is Clayface. Because, I don't know, maybe he murders you by shoving your face into clay or something. So they call him Clayface. If they do something like that, it's mind-numbingly stupid and destroys who and what these characters are and what we could have gotten. Like, I don't understand why you don't just want to go like, we're doing Batman. Here's all of Batman's villains. Go nuts. Have a field day with it. Instead of going, here's all of his villains, but we can only use that one, or that one because we don't want to go into the whole fantastical element of it. And of course, the one thing they were setting up in the first movie that didn't come to function, and we all thought it was definitely going to end up being there, and it wasn't, was Hush. Everything was pointing to, oh, Hush is going to be in this, and he wasn't. It didn't go near it. So whether or not he ends up in the next one, don't know. But we'll find out, I suppose. So, with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Let us know in the comments what you think of this plot line, and what characters would you have liked to see that you probably won't now because Matt Reeves has said we're not going in that direction. Let us know. And with that, I'll leave it there for this one. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.